This Mirage build is really strong. It does a lot of damage, it's extremely easy to play, and it's extremely fun to play as well, while having amazing boon access, and I would also say the utility of it is actually crazy for a solo build. This is one of the best solo builds for Mesmer, and I hope I can convince you with this video. Be sure to watch the whole video to not miss out a thing. As always, thanks to my dear supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon. And now, enough of the teasing, let's start. Credits for the original version of this build to Sato. So thanks for sharing this build with me. This build is, so to say, an iteration of my previous release, really easy, almost auto text only spamming solo build with the Staff Mirage. It's a little bit more advanced, you have to press a bit more buttons, but you will be rewarded with more boons and more damage. Let's start with the gear. So for gear, you run full Celestial with Leadership Rune. However, you can also, if you feel like you want to get a little bit more value of your stats, you can also go for Ritualist gear. Both of them are actually quite fine. Ritualist, I would say, is the more aggressive option. For people that know what they are doing, Ritualist is the better option for the most part. But if you already have Celestial gear lying around, for example, from the boosting of your character to level 80, then Celestial is very, very good. It's also the more brain AFK version of the build because it's just providing you with more defensive stats. But Ritualist is the most damaging option that you can go for. If you can afford infusions, you can go for a mix between wound duration infusions and condition damage infusions, but I would say just for the ease of use, go for full condition damage infusions and you will be fine if you can afford them, of course. It's not necessary by any means, so go for full Celestial with Leadership Rune and you will be fine. You can go for more damage if you don't need the boon duration. You can also go for Trapper Rune then and have even more damage. But I just wanted to make a build that is absolutely insane with the boons that it puts out, so Leadership Rune, that's what it is. For weapons, you want to go Staff with Energy and Frailty Sigil. Again, Celestial stats as well for all your gear. And then you want to use Scepter and Focus, again with Frailty Sigil and Energy Sigil. And then for Relic, you want to go with Relic of Rivers. It's just the best option. You get permanent Alacrity and permanent Regen just by using that. And Mirage actually is not punished for dodging because you can cast skills as well. So it's really, really good. Again, like I said, you can go for full Ritualist as well and you won't have any problems either. It's just a little bit more aggressive. For food and consumables, you would go with Peppered Cured Meat Flatbreads for minus 10% incoming damage and just more condition damage expertise. If you can't afford the Ascended version, you would go with Koi Cakes. Yes, the stats are swapped, but it's still very, very worthwhile, especially because the Koi Cakes are so cheap. For utility consumable, I would always go with Magnanimous Maintenance Oils. By the way, if you want to see more solo builds like this, don't forget to subscribe. But now to the traits. So for the traits, you want to run Chaos, Illusions and Mirage. Chaos is, so to say, your boon and defensive trait line. Gives yourself Regen. You get some nice damage increase when you get Chaos Aura, which you can get quite easily with your staff. And then you have just more concentration and expertise while you're affected by regeneration, which should be always the case. Then you use Illusionary Defense for permanent protection uptime. It's just insane how much protection you get from your Shatter skill too if you use it with 3 clones. If you don't need protection because it's an easy fight, you go for Lesser Chaos Storm and Method of Madness. It's just the best option for damage. But for protection uptime, that's the option. Then Chaotic Potency is just insane how much condi damage you get, especially on your staff, and the cooldown is decreased, so you always use that. If you, for whatever reason, need a lot of condi cleanse, you would go with Auspicious Anguish. Whenever you get CC'd, you actually get some condi cleanse, and when you get Distortion, you also remove conditions, so that can be worthwhile. But typically you don't need it. And last, you always take Bountiful Disillusionment. It's crazy, you get stability when you use the Shatter skill, almost 9 seconds. It's absolutely insane. And you get other boons as well. So that means you can get Fury, Vigor and that stuff really, really permanently, really easily. And stability as well on your F4 as well. So you get so much stability access, you typically don't even have to care if the enemy is CCing you. And then you have Illusions. That's your damage trait line, just some more confusion duration and more confusion application, just more damage buffs when you create an illusion, and your shatter skills have reduced recharge, which is obviously really good, just not only for the boons and the damage, but also just for the defense of, for example, distortion. Then, when a Phantasm becomes a clone, it transfers its boons to you. That's really, really good. It provides just a lot of passive boons, because you actually take Phantasmal Haste. So Phantasms spawn with quickness, so they cast their stuff faster. And when they despawn, they actually provide the quickness to you. And gain quickness when you create a Phantasm. So you also get personal quickness already when you cast a Phantasm. And keep in mind, if you, for example, use your staff, that summons 2 illusions. So that means that you actually get that twice. It's really, really good. And then lastly, Phantasmal Force Phantasms deal increased strike damage for each stack of might they have. That's quite nice if you play Celestial, because you actually have decent power scaling. But to take it for the second part, gain might when your Phantasm become clones. Just by using this trait, you will now have permanent 25 might. It's really, really good. And last, we have Mirage. Mirage is really good. So Mirage gives you the ability to dodge and also use your ambush skills. So whenever you dodge, you can actually use your ambush skills after that, and they're actually quite potent. They do some nice damage as well. And using the Deception skill will create a clone if you have any other clones active. That's only your Chaunt, but it's an instant cast, and it can be really helpful to actually do so. And then you take Mirage Mantle, which gives your ambush skills that more potency. That's especially nice because you get quickness from your Scepter, and you get Alacrity from your Staff Ambush. That's really good. And then lastly, you take Infinite Horizon. When you gain Mirage Cloak, your illusions also gain it. So that means when you gain it from dodging or just moving into Mirage Mirror, if you create one, you get the ability to ambush, and your illusions will also use the ambush attack. So that can be really good, especially with your Mirage Mantle trait. Keep that in mind. You can drop the Relic of Rivers for the more damaging option if you want to go for it, which would be Relic of Norris. Relic of Norris actually also procs when you despawn your Phantasm, so that you can easily proc that all the time, because your Phantasms then lose their boons, which counts as removing boons from enemies for whatever reason, and this will increase your damage by quite a bit. You will drop the Alacrity, the permanent Alacrity, but you can still upkeep it quite easily because you actually have this trait, and keep that in mind, it's the more aggressive option. And if you go for the Norris Relic, you have to go and use your Combat Tonic or something like that to actually already be transformed, so that you don't get the transformation from the Norris Relic. I explained it in detail in my Condi Chronomancer solo build guide. Be sure to check that out if you want to know how it works. But for this build, I feel like it's too gimmicky to get a little bit more damage, so you would go with Relic of Rivers for the most part. For the utility skills, you would go with Signet of Ether all the time, because it's just some nice passive healing and healing if you use it. And more importantly, it resets 100% of the cooldown of your Phantasms. So you can use the Phantasmal Disenchanter and Phantasmal Warlock all the time and spam them, and you will create so much boons from them, especially with the Phantasmal Warden as well. It's just insane. Then use Phantasmal Disenchanter for some nice boon removal and just some nice damage, and it's a Phantasm. If you play Ritualist, you wouldn't use that if you don't need boon removal, because you don't really hit with power damage. So you would swap that, for example, to maybe Sand through Glass or even Crystal Sands, depending on how much damage you need. Or if you want to play full aggressive, you would go with Mirror Images just for more shatter power and a nice stun break. But you can, of course, go for some Null Field to get boon removal or cleansing. You can go for Feedback for some just Reflect. You can go for even more stability or Condi Cleanse with the mantras, more CC. There are so many options. You can even go for Signet of Illusions if you need a recharge of your shatters. It's really good. So keep that in mind. Swap that whatever is necessary. Then you just take Signet of Midnight for the expertise passively and Signet of Domination for the passive condition damage. You would never use them. And lastly, you have Chaunt. That's just a very nice Condi Cleanse, instant cast teleport, and you can just to reposition, but also if you have a clone present, you can actually create more illusions with this Deception trait. Other than that, you have some really nice instant cast Chaos Armor, which obviously gives you the buff. Also some really strong damage from the Phantasmal Warlock and boons. Instant cast Phase Retreat. If you use that, you actually use it in your Chaos Storm to get the Chaos Armor and get the buff again. Your Chaos Storm is just some nice CC. If you use the Chaos Storm, always try to use the Phantasmal Warden afterwards, because it then combos and creates Confusion applying projectiles, so it's really good. It also applies a lot of vulnerability and is also protecting you from projectiles. This is some nice CC and also gives you some kind of swiftness if you walk through, and you can also pull mobs to it so that you actually can cleave them down. Your 2 skill is some nice block, but you typically want to reactivate it to just get some more damage with the Confusion, because if you can't guarantee the block, you wouldn't use it. Then your auto attack is quite slow, but the last hit actually creates a clone and applies some nice torment all the time. You would use the Either Barrage to actually get some nice quickness as well, but you typically don't need the quickness, just use it for damage if you have 3 clones present. So try to use your ambush all the time if you have 3 clones, so that all of them do the ambush attack. And then your 3 skill hits really hard in the power scaling and condi scaling, so keep that in mind. Use it whenever it's up. It is some crazy good confusion damage. And for the rotation, you typically would start on your staff. You would use your Phantasmal Disenchanter if you have it, use your Phantasmal Warlock, and use your Chaos Storm while casting them. Try to get some instant cast clone generation up X going. Then you use your Chaos Storm and teleport with your Phase Retreat to it to get some more Chaos Armor and the buff from it. Instantly swap after that to your Focus to actually get the Phantasmal Warden and Projectile Finisher in there. And then you can reset it, either use the Signet of Reset with the reset to reset your Phantasmal Warlock after you swap back to the staff, or use it instantly to get the Phantasmal Warden up. That depends a bit on your playstyle and which weapon you want to stick on, because after that you will just use your auto attacks and your 2, 3, and 4 skills of cooldown, get more damage out. And whenever you have 3 clones, you should try to use your Ember skills to actually get full value of Infinite Horizon. And if you want to shatter them, always try to be instantly able to get to 3 clones again to actually use the Infinite Horizon of cooldown. Other than that, always try to dodge before you swap weapons so that you can easily instantly get your energy back and get still the access to the ambush. And that's how this build plays. It's very fun to play, it's very strong. So thanks again for Sato or hero crafting most of it. I hope you enjoy this build as much as I do. If you do, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon, and I hope to see you all in the next video.